TIFU by making a way too delicious beef stew in humid weather I regret living. I bought a crock pot for the first time the other day and I'm kicking myself for not doing it sooner. I've been making pulled pork, chicken taquito filling, all sorts of tasty stuff. I'm obsessed. My wife told me last night that we haven't had beef stew in a while, and now that we had a crock pot, there was absolutely no excuse not to make it. I went all out, even buying some fancy red wine to make it with. Hell, I even made a whole-ass loaf of French bread with our bread maker to accompany it. 8 hours later, it's ready. My god, that stew was orgasmic coming from a slow cooker. That beef just fell apart. Absurdly good. I normally watch my portion sizes since I'm trying to lose some weight, but not tonight. I ate 2.5 bowls of this stuff. Fast forward about 3 hours later. For whatever reason, while it was only about 62 degrees Fahrenheit 16 degrees Celsius, outside, it is disgustingly humid. I don't do well at all in humidity or in hot weather, especially when I'm trying to sleep, so I use a machine that has a hose attachment that goes on the foot of your bed, and blows hot or cool air under the covers and over your body. I haven't used it in a while, but I turned it on and the cool air felt so much better against my body. I started to get cozy, and then my stomach started gurgling. Not really thinking about it, I lifted my leg and what can only be described as a silent, fiery hot stream of air escaped my asshole, continuing for nearly 10 seconds uninterrupted. What could possibly be worse than beef stew farts? Answer: having them blown back right in your face from under the covers. I can't even begin to describe the smell. It was like something literally crawled up my asshole and died 3 years ago. And my fucking machine was blowing what might as well be mustard gas right back at me. It smelled so bad that I threw up. My wife heard me and ran into the room, but the humidity of the room in combination with a now putrid mixture of beef stew, hell, farts and vomit created something that could bring about the end times. She helped me clean myself up, bless her soul, but my god, that was awful. TLDR: ate too much beef stew, body protested. Humid weather made me use a fan under my covers and accidentally gassed myself with beef stew farts and threw up from the smell. Edit: I've seen a lot of comments doubting the fact that I threw up because of the smell. Unfortunately, I'm very sensitive to smells and I have a not so great GI system. I've thrown up smelling putrid garbage, dumpsters, and other rancid smells. For the beef stew recipe, I used this one. Do you have the recipe? I'm feeling adventurous. This reminds me of my friend being woke up by his cat farting on his CPAP machine. It's happened at least twice now. I haven't laughed this hard in a long time. Thanks for sharing. I see you've never farted in fishing waders and then bent down to pick something up. You need to buy your wife some chocolate. Ah, crock pot and a Dutch oven, the perfect kitchen combo. That was a surprise ending, as you exuded chunks from the opposite end than I expected. Sounds terrible regardless. Oh my god, this cracked me up. This is definitely something my husband has done, except we didn't have the under the sheet fan thing, just a nice big metal fan at the end of our bed. Taco Bell Monster Energy farts are frigging awful, ha ha ha. Slow cookers are the frigging best, practically impossible to screw up. Try doing roasted garlic cloves in oil. They get suey soft, then smear on some sliced French bread. Holy crap, it is absolutely amazingly easy and delicious. Garlic is life. I'm sorry about your situation, OP, but could you link me that hot cold fart thrower 9000 you use to help you sleep? I think it would do me wonders minus the fart part. I read stomach gurgling and lift leg and thought this was going to be more of a homemade pudding in bed type of situation. So, you definitely made it out better than it could have been. That was beautiful, especially as a person that randomly experiences rotten egg-like farts and laughs about them, as everyone else just wants to die when they smell them. TLDROP Dutch ovens himself and the oven exploded in his face. Whenever my boyfriend or I have stomach problems, the farts that come with it need varying levels of warning. The max level is named beef stew for exactly this reason. Oh my god, as soon as you talked about the bed fan, I learned my horrible, gaseous lesson a long time ago and have a whole fart protocol now. You poor thing, thanks for sharing your hilarious misery. This was beautifully written and very much appealed to my love of potty humor. Your descriptive powers are so great that I almost felt like I could smell it. Your wife is definitely a keeper. You absolutely did not throw up at the smell of your own farts. Can you drop a link for that device? I'm stuck awake due to too much meat and cheese celebrating my kid's 13th b-day with fondue. So I definitely get the misery of indigestion. Elmfow, I just can't stop laughing now I'm at my in-laws and so badly want to explain what I just read. Instapot Crook Pot. The pressure pot function will reduce the 8-hour cook time to like 45 minutes. I'm impressed. As a firm believer that everyone enjoys the smell of their own brand, no matter how rancid, I'm genuinely proud of you for producing something so vile that your own body rejected it. Damn, sitting in a train and had to press my lips together pretty hard to not startle the other people by laughing out loud. Thank you. Be thankful you don't wear a cap. I am sleep deprived from having a small baby, but I read this post as TIFU by making a way too religious beef stew. I thought, well, I have to read this shit. TLDR, started in the crock pot, finished in the Dutch oven. All I can say is, thank you LMAO, I needed a good laugh today. When I was a teen, I wanted to make a Sunday meal for family and parents' friends as I was starting to learn to cook. I misread the recipe for a lamb stew if I remember right. It was something like cook it in 1 cup of wine, let it reduce, then repeat but with water for about 2 hours. However, I didn't notice you use water for the next reduction, so while I was slow cooking it I had reduced a full bottle of wine into this lamb stew. It was delicious, very rich and flavorful, but unfortunately there was only one bathroom, so I gave everyone an excuse to leave early faced with tears of joy. I shouldn't have skimmed this post, because I didn't know if by my fucking machine you meant your asshole or your wife. Turned out you meant a fan. Holy shit, your nightmare just eased my nightmare of a morning. God, why does everything on TIFU have to be so sexual? This reminded me of a friend who farted so loud in his sleep it woke him up. Years ago, my husband and I lived in a tiny apartment. After dinner he went to the bathroom and there was no escaping the massive sounds coming from the bathroom. He must have heard me laughing because he yelled, "Welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch." I died laughing. We still joke about it to this day. When my son was a toddler, there was a very hot and humid day where I had the fan blowing on me, and he squatted down in front of the fan and unintentionally unleashed a mega fart that was blown across the room into my face. So disgusting, and even worse was him laughing at me. Fart stuff is never not funny. Sorry you gassed yourself for our entertainment LMAO. Reminds me of that story of that guy that drank water too much apple juice while driving to job sites and absolutely destroyed his work van with what can only be described as nuking your knickers. Shit was everywhere LMAO. I had a similar experience by eating half a big box of raisins when I was a kid. Absolutely cratered my asshole. I now hate raisins. I yet to know of anyone who can even stand their own fart. If you fart in your room with or without blower, it's 99 you gonna smell it anyway. If any of this is true, you threw up cause you overate and lack of pure oxygen in humid conditions made you feel sick. The rest is your own misery. Do you find the bedjet to be worth it? I've had one on my wish list for ages. You threw up from your own fart. I didn't know that was